Porque ya está a punto de reanudarse la FOA 2019, así que por favor, las personas que están en la parte exterior del recinto, pasen, regresen a sus puestos. Estoy viendo muchísimas caras familiares, bienvenidos. Veo gente de agencias, veo clientes directos. Todavía estoy impresionado con lo del carrito que me trajo la comida, por lo general es al contrario. Así que pueden pasar. Estamos a solo 30 segunditos de reanudar la conferencia. Cuando algo nos deja sorprendidos, somos víctimas de un inevitable ¡oh! Y es la expresión favorita del próximo conferencista, quien ha dedicado toda su vida profesional a promover el uso del ¡oh! Hola.
Reconocido en el Salón de la Fama de la OAAA, es uno de los defensores más versátiles, influyentes y apasionados de la industria OOH. Socio y director de estrategia en Billups, compañía tecnológica de publicidad y medios de Estados Unidos. Su tarjeta de presentación es una de ideas estratégicas y soluciones innovadoras que conducen a resultados empresariales importantes. Gracias a Rental Vision, recibimos al gran evangelista de la publicidad exterior, Rick Robinson.
Hello, everybody. Wow, what an audience. This is amazing. This is an amazing stage. I have to say thank you. My wife and I are here in the Dominican, and we've been treated wonderfully. The energy, the love, the passion, we feel all of it. I have to say thank you to Yesley and her crew. And the setup from the two previous speakers is extremely encouraging when it comes to my profession, my passion, which is out-of-home media. So today we're going to go on a journey, and it's about what you call exterior publicidad, or las valles, or out-of-home media, or billboards. And we're going to understand how this business is an ancient business. It's a human global language, and it's growing very rapidly. The evidence is in, the business proof is here. It's become the voice of our cities globally, and it delivers context and time and fun and money and all kinds of utility for the public. So this will be a fun journey. I promise to make it entertaining. It's mostly pictures. And as I get rolling, I just want to say thank you again to the FOA, because the images they're using to promote this show are billboards. Take a look. And like any billboard, it has some rules, some disciplines. There's a big visual, FOA. There's a headline, it's a brand new world. And then there's information about where to find it. This approach, 3 elements, 1 idea, high contrast, is a common language for poster art all over the planet. And this works because we're visual by nature. We remember most of what we see versus what we hear. And it impacts us, and it triggers our memory and our emotions. And you know, this week is a special week because after 33 years in this business, I think I experienced and I saw the most powerful billboard that I've ever known. And it's a billboard that wasn't even meant to be one. It was accidental. But it's got a visual and a headline, and it expresses intent, and it's moving the world right now. This billboard, right? Greta Thunberg from Sweden. This young lady in a raincoat sitting in front of the Swedish parliament with a sign that says, "School strike for climate." And just this image has now motivated millions of people across the planet to protest in favor of positive climate change policies. This is what out-of-home media can do, because it's an expression of our passions. Posters are how we communicate. Symbols are how we communicate. I'm standing in front of you communicating with color. I'm wearing all black. Why? Because I'm cool, right? I want to be cool. Maybe I have a Johnny Cash fetish, right? I wish I was Johnny Cash. But it's part of my expression and part of who I am. And And this is at our core. Using symbols and shapes, they mean things. This goes back centuries, thousands of years. That's how humans communicate with each other. And we're aggressive about it, very aggressive. We plant our feet visually. It's proof of life. It shows our intent. Think about what happened here with this image. A year ago, this young lady was sitting in front of the Swedish parliament, school strike for climate. She felt passionate, she felt powerful, she felt angry that nobody heard her. She wanted to get her message out there. And then a year later on the right are millions of similar folks across the planet, mostly young people, expressing the same passion and the same message through posters and symbols. Place is part of how we communicate. The very famous French poster artist JR just did this installation in a very, very sensitive space, very controversial space. This is at the US-Mexico border. It's the wall, the big wall we've all heard about. And he put a picture of a small child trying to climb the wall to create the conversation, but he also did something that showed how we are the same, regardless of which side of the line we lay on, we are all humans. And this kind of imagery is at the root of out-of-home media and why it's so powerful now across the planet. Because place is part of the messaging. Here's something for the John F. Kennedy Library, positioned on a barge in New York City Harbor with a digital screen, and it's right in front of the Statue of Liberty. So the landmark, the Statue of Liberty, is part of the messaging. It's the visual icon evoking the emotion. At the port of Hamburg in Germany, for the iPhone, the gate to the world, but not your private information. This is communicating that the iPhone keeps privacy. But they're using a gateway, the port, as the trigger for that mechanism, as part of that messaging. So this helps you understand how out-of-home media is a global conversation. It's a global language. It's part of who we are in our core. And it communicates the stories of today. In the US, Colin Kaepernick, very famous American football player, Nike did a big TV campaign expressing his passion and willing to risk his future to stand up for what he believed was right. And then it was summarized on these billboards and became part of the evening news. So it's who we are and what we talk about, and it's proven out in the business. The business is up. The business is up globally. I was at the recent out-of-home Congress. There's a global out-of-home Congress occurred in Dubai. Yes, there is a global out-of-home Congress for a bunch of billboard geeks. And there we found that across the planet, the business is growing and expanding. In 2018, it was predicted to be one of the hottest advertising trends. It's shared on social media constantly. You know, sometimes proof of a successful billboard campaign is that it's on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all other social media. In the first quarter in the US, it had 6% growth. In the second quarter, it had 7% growth. There's all kinds of other options in terms of blockchain and AI and cryptocurrency. And then there's examples of different brands working with it well, from Pokemon to Fanta using Snapchat symbols, and our client Twitter. In fact, our client Twitter decided to use train station posters as a canvas for user-generated contact. They asked Twitter users to describe Twitter. And then they took those messages and responses and put them up in public places. Twitter is the misfits playground, and I like it here a lot. This speaks to what some of David Shing was talking about, that merger of content and context, and what is advertising, and what is created, and what is part of the conversation, and what's creating the conversation. Using Twitter is like dipping your toes into an ocean of human beings. Makes Twitter look good. Thinking about it, Twitter is talk radio for your eyes, and everyone's a DJ. So you can see how out of home has got these deep roots, and now it's growing and it's more successful. Twitter just decided that they're going to put 50% more of their budget into out of home media. And the truth is, A digital campaign, a digital media strategy without out-of-home media is simply incomplete. Out-of-home is the glue that holds it together. It's what makes it real in public space. This is for the show Jack Ryan on Amazon. 50,000 square feet on rooftops at Los Angeles International Airport. Nothing can do what out-of-home can do. Nothing can do what out-of-home can do. And here this is at night. So you see this on your airplane flying in and out of Los Angeles International Airport. And of course, what happens when you do this? Immediate press. And more than that, to social media, but in this case, Jeff Bezos, the man who owns Amazon and might own the world, decides he needs to share this on his personal social media feed. Nothing can do what out-of-home can do. And Facebook even thinks so. This killed me. Facebook just put out a study saying that when you buy Facebook, it's better if you buy it with out-of-home too. So Facebook and out-of-home work better together, and Facebook's telling everybody. So there's all these factors leading into why out-of-home is strong and growing. But there's also some fundamental reasons that have always been with out-of-home that haven't gone away and never will go away. And that's because we can change the look of a city overnight. This was for Brand Jordan, the apparel and footwear. And I still have this brief in my phone. We got a call from the brand manager, and he said, "Hey, Rick, it's the 2018 All-Star Game in Los Angeles. Own this city. We want you to own this city. You have 3 weeks to figure out, go, do it," right? The typical brief. And look at the size and scale of this. Right here is a small airplane, a Southwest Airlines airplane, flying into Los Angeles Airport. And to the left, of course, is a giant building wrap. But more exciting is what happened across the city, and here's what it looked like.
Check this out.
Right? Big, boom, giant, small, local, street-level attitude media, projections on building in Hollywood, and we even branded high school gymnasiums where NBA players had played their high school basketball. So this is out-of-home media creating spectacle, getting in at street level, landing at contextual places that are relevant historically, and satisfying the big brief objective, which was to own this city. Nothing can do what out-of-home can do. And not only does it create conversations, but I would offer that it often is the conversation. Here's an example. Recently in Minneapolis, we put up a wall for Brand Jordan as well. And this is for Maya Moore. Maya Moore is a very famous WNBA women's basketball player, an all-star, very well known. We put this wall up for one day, just one day. And what happened? Boom, social media all over the place. But even more unexpected was that evening on the evening news, a newscaster was inspired by this to say something very powerful.
Nellie Bowles of the New York Times published a fairly terrifying piece this past week titled "Jordan Peterson, Custodian of the Patriarchy." If you haven't read the profile on Peterson, it's about men who look back to the 1950s with a gleam in their eye for a time when the male gender had more power, control, and privilege than they perceive them to have today. It's disturbing and backwards in a way that feels like some kind of precursor to a Handmaid's Tale future, and for a couple days, that really got to me. But then something happened while I was walking around in Minneapolis on Sunday. I turned the corner around a building and saw this on a giant wall in the middle of a bustling city. WNBA star Maya Moore, large as can be in a recreation of the hugely famous Michael Jordan Wings poster that pretty much every basketball-loving youth had in their room in the 90s. It's a powerful image all in its own right, but in the context of the article I had just read, it feels even more pressing, more important, more necessary, because some little girl is going to walk down that street, walk by that mural, and be impacted in ways that are tough to quantify. It's representation on a larger-than-life scale. It's a symbol of a tough, talented, tenacious woman, exactly the kind of thing the Jordan Petersons of the world don't want to see, which is exactly why we need it, and that's today's take.
Whew. Wow. We should hire this guy to sell billboards, right? But let's listen to what he said here. First of all, this was not paid for or prompted or organized in advance. Jordan put up one wall for one day. It produced a ton of social media, a lot of conversation, and inspired a political discussion. And at the end of this, he said some very important things. That it created impact in ways that are yet unknown. So out of home is not just in the moment, but it has impact that lasts, that take with you. It was representation on a larger-than-life scale. So that's big. It's an investor. It's a citizen. It's epic. It's putting a stake in the ground. I am here. It's proof of life. And it told a story about a tough, tenacious, talented woman. So it extended a conversation far beyond the image. That's what out of home can do that nothing else can do. And that's where out of home isn't just part of the conversation, but it
Que al final del evento, gracias a nuestros amigos de la Casa Brugal, vamos a estar compartiendo un after work con una cata de sus productos para celebrar el cierre de estos 6 años de FOA Dominicana. Así que ya lo saben, lo tienen muy pero muy pendiente, porque al finalizar todo este evento y toda la conferencia, vamos a poder compartir un poquito con los productos de Brugal. Entre tanto, vamos con el próximo expositor. Sí. Nuestro próximo expositor seguramente los va a impresionar como los anteriores, poner a volar la imaginación y aterrizarla en un proyecto que se convierta en una solución revolucionaria. Es lo que ha logrado el siguiente speaker. Adelante.
Dirigió con éxito los esfuerzos de Westfield para crear medios y plataformas de patrocinio en diversos entornos minoristas y de tránsito. Se unió a Clear Channel Airports como presidente en mayo de 2017 y actualmente dirige todos los aspectos del negocio de CCA, incluidas las funciones de finanzas, operaciones, adquisiciones, ventas y marketing. Clear Channel presenta al publicista que está revolucionando la comunicación en los aeropuertos a nivel mundial. Morten Goderu.
Yep. Hello. So, I have a dangerous job right now. I stand between you and lunch. So, I promise to make it quick and entertaining. I don't just like the Dominican Republic, I love the Dominican Republic. And I've been coming here for 17 years, and granted, I only have like 4 followers on social media, but everyone that I know, I tell them what a special place this is. So thank you very much for having me. Look, I'm not going to run around the stage. I'm not doing backflips, but I am going to do one thing that is completely self-serving. Who's a parent? Who has a child? Who thinks they have a pretty cool job and their kid thinks their job is not cool? I do. I have a daughter. So, if you will bear with me, we're going to take a selfie, and I'm going to embarrass the shit out of her. And if we could dim those lights and maybe show the crowd, can we turn those lights off? Maybe not? Yeah, there we go. All right, everyone, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. So, what is the future of advertising? I don't have gimmicks. It's you. It's you. What is it that you want? What is it that your brands want? It's a dialogue. So, I believe that a brand's #1 job is to connect with consumers. That's it. You want to connect. What better place than airports, right? Airports are a series of hellos and goodbyes. If you're ever having a bad day, go to the international terminal at Santo Domingo and watch people welcoming back their families. I get a little emotional, right? I tears up. If you ever see a military reunion and there's one that's on the internet about a mother soldier coming back, I rest my case. This is what airport advertising used to look like. And in some airports, it still looks this way. Not bad, right? This is where we are now. These are all digital. And we're investing, we at Clear Channel Airports have invested over $125 million in media assets alone across our airports for you to bring your clients to activate within them. The one on the bottom left is quite exciting. That's FOA Dominicana, and they did a beautiful activation inside of our Atlanta airport. But we're here to talk about where we're going. We're going to talk very briefly about things that are, whether it's virtual reality, social connecting, and then I like to call this contextual advertising. Every brand, if IBM Watson advertised in an airport, if IBM Watson advertised saying that your flight got in early 6 minutes because of 160 knot tailwind, it's interesting. What's our role? And all airport media companies. We stand in the middle of the airports and brands. We help you bring brands to life in airports. We're going to talk about how we should be doing that down the road. So where we are, we're the biggest in North America. We have from the tiniest baby airport to the two biggest in Chicago and Atlanta by passenger traffic and by flight volume. We love the Caribbean, and we love the Dominican Republic. So we work in the 5 airports here, and we're incredibly proud to do so. I'm going to show you what we do. First, I want to thank our sponsors who are advertisers with us, and these wonderful sponsors here who have made this day possible. But thank you for working with us, and obviously thank you for supporting the media industry. Here's what we do.
Just did Facebook virtual reality and it was awesome.
We experienced the Transpose project first at San Jose International Airport.
I'm here in the Denver airport, just took a virtual test drive. And let me tell you, it was as good as an actual test drive. I've been to a lot of airports, and this by far is the best one I've seen.
What I love about the Southwest Lounge is how easy it is to get your stuff out of the way. Thank you, Southwest.
So, a little bit of where we are today, and now where we're going. So the ad on the left, this is for Estee Lauder. The ad on the left is what Estee Lauder would have normally done in an airport, kind of a modest little standee. But what's going on in our space is billions and billions and billions of dollars are being invested in airports. I'm sure you all travel and you see construction everywhere. Why is that? That is because people want to have an experience when they fly. There's a lot of competition for airlines. And Estee Lauder heavily invests in the airport. And so what used to be on the left is now on the right, where we will work with Estee Lauder, do an activation. And what has happened is that in airports, Estee Lauder generates more revenue in airports than they do in any other retail platform. I think that begs the question that we're in a mall, that airports are becoming retail destinations. In fact, in North America and parts of the United States, airports are now opening up to non-travelers. Meaning, if you don't have a ticket, you can walk in and enjoy lunch, dinner, shopping, etc. That trend will continue. So this is another example. This is an airport of ours where a Porsche will have a display. And this is about finding small ways to entertain clients. This is augmented reality. Someone can walk by, test the car, they can design it, they can schedule a test drive, and they can have a quick, nice experience. This is in our small airports. If any of you have ever consumed Jack Daniels, it's in Lynchburg, Virginia. This is in baggage claim in Lynchburg, Virginia. It is a beacon-enabled activation, which as you walk by, it will give you all sorts of different options. You can learn more, and you can get a 10% coupon off of a tour of Jack Daniels. This is contextual advertising. I beg of you, with your clients, no matter what medium you're in, if you have the ability to speak to the consumer or the customer in the moment where they are, do it. All the data supports that. Some interesting things we're doing things like health walks, sponsored by healthcare companies. We're working with things that, this is virtual reality and smart glasses where people can wear them and they can learn about various tours within the airport. One particular thing that we're doing inside of our Atlanta airport is offering incentives for people who take the health tour. Another way that's just beyond the basic ad. This is using biometrics and facial recognition. This is very obvious, but this is the woman on the left is being played an ad for Tag Heuer, and the man on the right is being played an ad. Same advertising company, different messages based on biometrics. This is something that we're working with as you tie in, and I know that there's going to be some data privacy people that will raise their hand here, but this is an example of someone is searching for headphones connected through the Wi-Fi system. We know where they are, and we can trigger an ad to the nearest digital screen within the airport for them. I know it's a little Big Brother-ish. And then contextual advertising. This is critical. This is critical, I believe, for all of us, and I think we've heard from some of the others, but this is Netflix advertising right before someone gets locked on a plane for 3 hours, giving them a free download. This, in the United States, has anyone noticed that there's a lot more dogs in airports recently? No one? There's dogs everywhere in the United States. The FAA requires us to have pet relief areas, bathrooms for pets. This is providing a sponsorship opportunity, contextual advertising. And then finally, before my big announcement, radar. This is something we're very proud of, and this is something that I believe the industry will be heading towards. Radar uses mobile anonymous data to better enhance advertising. Basically what it does is it tracks mobile data to begin to allow us to help advertisers plan. If an advertiser, Mercedes, wants to know people that traveled through an airport, how many went to a BMW dealership, we can identify our locations and amplify those locations so that they can target. Here's an example. This is a very large software company that sent us their database of 15,000 customers. This is Seattle Airport, and what we did is through that database we identified within a 30-mile radius which airport they should advertise that has the highest concentration of their clients. I know it's a little boring, but this is actually going to help with an ROI and prove performance. Okay, lunch is next. You are the first public that is about to see this, and it's something I'm incredibly proud of. When I joined Clear Channel Airports about 3 years ago, we wanted to do something big. And we made a decision that we wanted to launch the first all-digital airport in North America. We, of course, chose San Jose, and San Jose, if you don't know, is Silicon Valley's airport. And what we did was we decided that we were going to do it very different. We were going to overinvest in digital, which you're about to see, but we're selling it on a sponsorship model, meaning you're buying for 3 years. You're buying long-term. And the way I describe long-term content, if you just repurpose a television ad into the airport ad, that's what you're going to get. If you're going to design content for the space, and when you're there for 3 years, you will. So I'm showing you the first ever all-digital sponsorship airport program, and I'm even more proud to tell you that it's completely sold out. So, this is my final statement. One of my great joys is I have 300 wonderful people that I work with. When I get to meet a brand and we fly to an airport, and I'll give you an example, Wichita Airport. Wichita is the home of Koch Industries. Wichita Airport wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Koch Industries. Touring them and not trying to sell them something, but asking them what they want us to build for them. There's a big difference. As you think about your clients or yourselves, if you are the client, it's okay to ask for the hard. It's okay to ask for something that doesn't exist, because what it does is it starts a conversation that as we build in the future, we've heard from you. It can't all just be about us. You know the Dominican airports better than I do. If you tell me that there's something that we're not doing and we should be doing it, we'll do it. Same for my competitors around the globe. We need to listen to our clients. Thank you very much.
Perfecto, ya estamos de vuelta y voy a llamar a Chris y a Moron a que se acerquen nuevamente al escenario, porque en este momento vamos a empezar con una especie de debate y pedimos a nuestros exponentes, a Moron que regrese y a Chris Robinson, por favor que regresen acá, porque vamos a tener el primer Q&A. Vamos a recibir a quien va a ser el anfitrión del Q&A, es Johnny Matos, que es el Chief Executive Dominican Republic and Caribbean de Omnicom Media Group. Por favor, bienvenido nuestro anfitrión, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido. Y también a nuestros exponentes. Welcome back, please.
Tell them.
Welcome
I'm sorry,
back.
I lied. I thought lunch was next.
Okay, this is your place. And Chris, we're waiting for you. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? From this side. Welcome back.
My pleasure.
Please. Recuerden que ustedes,
How are you? It's a pleasure.
toda
How
la
you doing?
colectividad,
Great job, man.
toda la colectividad puede hacer sus preguntas a través del hashtag que está apareciendo en nuestras pantallas. Ustedes pueden formularlas y de esa manera comienza, a través de Johnny, comienza este Q&A. Así que bienvenidos. Por favor, Johnny.
Thank you for coming to Dominican Republic. A wonderful presentation. Showing what happens in outdoor around the world. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Nevertheless, video will remain the king of formats. Can we say in the near future that in a basic normal way the advertising agency can integrate the content while we're walking down the street?
Oh, sure. So the question is, can digital, which is dominant now, integrate the content into out-of-home media? The question, yes?
Yes.
Yes. And so I would say, yes, it already does. It already does. It's new. It's just beginning. But the point is this, is that the screens on the street are really the new channels and the new screens for everyone. And I think in the future, there'll be very little distinction between the screen on your phone, the screen at home, and the screen on the street. They're all part of the same ecosystem, communicating to people in the right place at the right time. So it's already here and it's emerging. They're a wonderful partner.
So I think the same what Rick's saying is that for us, the only difference, and it's a slight negative, is that we're somewhat restricted by airports in terms of what content we can play, right? So for example, no political advertising. But with what we're allowed to play, I think it's all part of the same journey. And as you saw, we are trying to connect all of our screens into one message.
Second question. What's the key to combining new technologies with a storyline in an environment such as open space, airport, building, etc., etc.?
So that's such a good question. And David's point earlier about people with virtual reality glasses and whatever wearable technology is, it can't just be what's latest and greatest. Sometimes the coolest new technology is not necessarily even technology at all, right? So for us, we have been toying with putting golf simulators in airports. So to begin to entertain people in that way. I think for me there is new technology, but for me it's much more interesting to talk about entertaining of travelers, whatever that might be.
Entertainment. And for you, Rich?
Sure, it goes back to time, fun, or money. It's the public space. They're not in that space to consume irrelevant out-of-home messaging or irrelevant technology. It's got to provide utility for them. Whenever I'm in a conversation with a brand or an agency and we're looking at an execution in out-of-home that has a new technology to it, if the conversation is all about the technology and the audience is forgotten, it generally is a one-off. It happened once and goes away. However, if the conversation is about the people and how easy it is for them to interact and what it means to them, then it'll be a home run. It'll keep happening over and over again, and there'll be great levels of satisfaction and desire.
Okay, a question for the audience. Rick, what will be the advertising formats that will be imposed when talking about the future?
I'm sorry, can you ask?
Okay, what will be the advertising formats that will be imposed when talking about the future?
That'll be possible in the future? Yeah, sure. You know, I believe what we're going to end up with is the media being much more than just advertising. I see out-of-home media becoming the new communication channels.
Yes.
So for example, what's one of the big TV stations here in Santo Domingo? Channel, what, 7 maybe? I don't know. Let's say ABC Television. That's a channel, right? It's a channel that delivers content and news and information, and the public sees it that way. I believe the out-of-home industry is becoming its own public-facing channel, and the public will continue to see it in a broader way. Advertising, commerce, public safety messaging, hurricane warnings, art. So that's the medium of the future. I don't see it as a hardware thing. I see it as a content delivery thing that's relative to context and better understanding audience and what they do after they see these kind of messages.
Okay, thank you. Another question, and the fourth question, Martin. It seems that respect for the environment is a common trend in this threat or opportunity for brands in the tourism sector.
So, did you get that?
It's hard for me to hear.
Yeah.
It seems that respect for the environment is a common trend. Is this a threat or opportunity for brands in the tourism sector?
So that is such a great question. It really is. So a couple things. So San Jose, Silicon Valley, we're going all digital, which we would all agree is better for the environment from plastic and paper. I think what Rick showed with Coca-Cola doing the advertising, promoting it, cause marketing is something I think we should all take a little bit more seriously. So for example, we represent over 1 billion travelers in our network. And we are no longer, there's a dreaded word in our industry called filler copy. Filler copy is what you put up on a screen when the ad is not sold. I would much rather give that to cause marketing, things that are going to, not political, but things that are going to make a difference in the world. So I see this as a massive opportunity. And last point on this one, I see down the road getting companies to work with us that will sponsor this messaging for the airport audience.
Okay. We are running out of time, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For answering the question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait.
For your micro. Okay. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Esto va a continuar en solo segundos, en solo minutos va a continuar. Y me preguntaba, por ejemplo, y quería hacerles esa pregunta, ¿por qué una marca es revolucionaria? A ver. ¿Por qué? Porque no se detiene en lograr sus metas, siempre va por más, y así es el mundo de Caribbean Cinemas. Así que vamos a ver, como se dice aquí, vamos a ver cuál es la movie que nos presentan a continuación. Adelante.
Bueno, estoy aquí porque tengo una situación y no sé si es buena o es mala. Solo sé que es
Hemos nutrido mucho nuestra alma, nuestro conocimiento, pero llegó el momento de darle algo al cuerpo. O sea, el almuerzo. Vayan a comer, disfruten muchísimo, recordándoles las ventajas de pagar con la tarjeta que les dije muy tempranito. Y en solo unos minutos estaremos de vuelta para continuar con FOA 2019. Gracias.